करियर की बाद में सोच, पहले स्किल डेवलप कर. If you're getting bored, my question is, have you done enough to figure out the interesting problems that may be lying around you within your organization, right? And it is not you alone. You need to work with people in technology, you need to work with people in product, you need to work with different people in your organization. Be like, hey, listen, I know design, how can I help you? I want to do something interesting.
You want a job, and the company also want a good talent to be hired. So you need to understand, it's not a one day thing or a 1 month thing or even a 1 year thing. You have a great, you should be like aiming that, okay, I have these skill sets, I need to put it in a good place to work, so that I'm going to gain experience and the company also going to gain something good from my skills.
थोड़ा पीछे जाओ, like close Figma, just close the laptop, low pen paper, and just try to do things, just try to figure out things and then go into execution mode. हम इतना जल्दी भाग जाते हैं execution mode में that we don't think about the basic stuff.
All right. Thanks, Manch, for inviting me, and it's great to meet everyone along with Nikalank and Nisha, you guys. And Nikalank and I, we know each other since a few years. We have worked together. So yeah, about me, I started back in the days of 2001 when we had Flash and Macromedia and all those softwares. So I was a graphic designer. That's how I started off. Not formally from any art background. I had done my graduation in physics and computers. So I thought, let's explore design because that's what I was inclined about. Did few years there into visual design, graphic design, e-learning, etc. And then I thought, okay, the world is changing into UX design, and that's how I moved into UX design. Did certification, few things here and there. Worked with few companies like Tech Mahindra, Equint, HFI as well, EY. And then I worked with Lollipop Design Studio. I started their Mumbai division, then grew it to a size of almost 50. Then from there, I moved to US for a couple of years to do the same thing. So all in all, I can say that it's been a great design journey. I would say that I was just observant enough, um, understood my strengths and weaknesses, kept learning, and I'm still learning. There is a lot to do more, but what I enjoy more, and I have enjoyed more over years, is working with great people. That's something that keeps me going, working with designers, working with great people. Um, and then work just happens. So yeah, that's a very short journey of mine, and happy to take any questions on this.
Awesome. We move to Nisha ma'am.
Okay. Hello everyone, Nisha this side. So I am a product designer. I teach, I do design, I teach design, I paint, I make content. I also do content. Bunch forced me to do this. Never paid me, but okay. So yeah, I started my journey back in 2019 when I was having an extra semester in college because I failed 8 classes. बट मैंने सोचा कि चलो ठीक है, आईआईटी के तो ड्रॉप आउट्स की भी इज्जत होती है, तो अपना शायद काम बन जाएगा. But then one day I was just flaunting my paintings on social media, and one senior just suggested, why don't you give like UI UX, like thoda start karo, see if this works for you or not. And I figured like it was a sweet spot of like technology and design. I was creative enough already, so I was anyway not going to classes, so I put my time there. I started doing design and all. Then I got, based on that, I got my first internship. Then based on the first internship, I got another one, and then based on that, I got a job. So I would like to say I learned design while I was doing, while I was already working in the industry. So I have learned by actually from people. Actually, I would connect with Anjali on that a lot more. Yes, I love working with people, and yeah, that gives, I'm super extrovert. That gives, like, meeting people gives me energy. अभी दिन का अंत हो चुका है, but I am energetic because you all are here.
Wow, awesome. Moving on to Nikalank sir.
Hi everyone. Firstly, thank you very much for taking this time.
I think we lost sir for due to bad internet. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's not me. Everyone else is moving for me, so I think it's so. He'll be back. Technical difficulty, guys. Welcome to online. Okay, yeah, sir is back. Yes,
No, no, my Wi-Fi just died on me.
yes.
Yeah, so I've had an unconventional journey. I've been doing this for about 26, 27 years now. I've been doing this since uh, late 1990s.
Hmm.
Most of you probably were not even on the planet then. I've done all formats of design. I started off as a mural painter. I used to paint walls for studios. And from there, I got into photos, studios. I became a part-time photographer. I've done a lot of web work. I was just very fascinated with building stuff, right? So wherever I got an opportunity to build anything, whether it was a business or a product or just a communication strategy, I would just take that on. And I've done all formats of design. So I've had my own studio. I had my own studio in Dubai for almost 6 years. I've been a consultant with McKinsey for almost about 3 years. I worked across Asia Pacific on various different studies, primarily on banking and telco. I had my own startup. That was for almost a decade. Various different things that I did there. And now for the last 6 years, 5 years, I've been with Vodafone Idea. I lead 4 chapters of excellence. So I think design is my core, but it gives me the strength to do a lot more. So I've been able to build a lot of technology products, business strategies because of my deep experience in design. And I think one of the things that I always tell people is that if you want to be good at design, you need to go beyond design. If you're going to just think design and only do design, then I don't think you'll be able to get to the extent of what you can. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. Again, happy to dive deeper into any what you want. And I hope you guys enjoy this. Don't blame us for spoiling your Friday evening.
Thank you so much, guys, for your lovely intros. And we'll start everything on the spot. Obviously, you all have questions, and as I just said, for the latecomers, we will be opening round after my questions are done. My questions are more general and more open, and it can be a question that you also have, so it might be like relevant, and you might not wanna unmute yourself. So maybe I'll help you on that part, right? So one last rule, I would love if you guys can direct questions. So if you are given the spot to speak, please also direct the question to any one of the speaker over here, right? And it becomes more relevant because otherwise everyone will be deciding ki kaun answer kare. Obviously these guys have great synergies because they are the industry people. Talking about industry, uh, these guys have obviously much more experience as compared to all of us in the call, right? I want to ask, so you can literally copy me on how I am forming the question and I'm directing it, right? I want to understand from Nikalank sir. So what I'll do is, as I went from Anjali ma'am, Nisha Kumari to Nikalank Jain, now I'll go ulta, right? I'll make it palindrome, right? So first question for Nikalank sir. Oh wait, am I audible?
You had a slight network issue.
Am I back?
He is frozen.
Okay.
Am I back, guys? Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now.
Awesome. Talking about the industry, sir, we all have seen a lot of changes in the past year itself, right? With the introduction of AI, now companies like Figma dropping so many things, right? At once. This was not possible for software companies a year and a half ago because obviously Figma has used AI themselves to make these amazing looking new tools and the suite that they are trying to create, right? Uh, Obviously, there are a lot of improvements yet to be made from Figma side, but obviously Adobe has been kafi lamba in the journey, right? Now, similarly, you have been long enough in your specific company, right? You have seen things change. You have seen people go and new people joining in. right? How do you, as an industry lead, see all of these changes and adapt? Because adaptation एक ऐसी चीज है ना जो मेरे को एज अ सीईओ एंड अ फाउंडर भी डिफिकल्टी होता है ना, एनीवन राइट who are working in any of the companies, that if they are staying for a good amount of time in a company, how do they decide that, okay, wow, these are these are the new changes, how do I change myself, like the whole question of adaptation, how do you do that?
That's an interesting question. So, absolutely right, man. In the last 2.5 decades, I think I've seen a lot of change. When I started out, this industry didn't even exist. So there was no such thing as a designer. There was no such thing as, nobody got paid for design.
Hmm.
Design was just one of those things that you did in a art studio or a design or a advertising studio, and you were like an entry level artist, to be honest. So from there to actually design becoming something that people will pay for, there was a lot of work that the software industry did. They made design a formal line item in their codes that they would submit to companies and industries, and and there were branding studios who actually did a lot of work in bringing identity design to India. So I think these two things kind of started changing things in the early 2000s, and by the mid, like around 2005, is when studios started really getting established in India. I'm talking about the branding studios, and towards the end of that decade, like around 2010, 11ish, is when we saw the first design studios kind of propping up. That's when design thinking started becoming a more talked about topic, and UI UX as terminology started becoming more formal line items and codes and things like that. So I think it's been an interesting journey to be honest. And what I liked about my journey specifically was nothing being there formally gave me a chance to do almost anything and everything, which is very difficult to do now today. Like for example, for a UI UX designer to go and say, design a branding project or do a branding project or do an industrial design project is very, very difficult, because these fields have become so specialized and so niche that the transparency and the translucency of things has become really, really difficult,
Hmm.
which is not the case in my time. Like I was designing water pumps, and then the next minute I was designing writing instruments, and then I was designing a brand strategy campaign. So from that perspective, I think that was a huge advantage. The learning curve was insane. Like I can work with different materials, whether it's wood or paper or even silicon, for example, plastics, metals. At the same time, I can do digital work because that's something that I've been focusing on the last decade of my career. And digital was something that I fell in love with, primarily because the speed at which you can deliver, the kind of things that you can do, and the future of where it's going. How I keep myself relevant, so I realized that the best way to stay relevant is to work with young people. So as a strategy, I make sure that at least 25 to 50% of my team is beginners, right? We invest a lot in hiring really talented starters,
Hmm.
because we know that they're going to be hungry and they're going to be going out and they want to break things, and they've got the energy that you don't. So you'll always find 2 3 people in my team who are these very difficult to deal with but very talented designers who are always asking questions and who are always being difficult to deal with and things like that, but they help you stay relevant because sorry, as you gain experience, you also start gaining blinkers, so you also start becoming a little limited in your thinking.
Hmm.
And it's natural. I mean, I'm not blaming anyone, it happens to me as well. I had a meeting today where I was presenting to 5 people of my age, and then we all realized that we're too strategically inclined, we need somebody to break this. So we called our -1s and -2s into the meeting, and we said, here's what we think, what do you guys think about it? So we wanted somebody to break that kind of mold that we were sitting in. So I think, and that is an honest way to keep yourself relevant. And if you're not going to be relevant, then in this field you're going to get wiped out. We just recently had a session where a product owner, somebody from the technical side, actually built out a working prototype on Lovable just using a few prompts. Right? He went
Yeah.
from prompts to working prototype, there was no design person involved in the process. Now, I agree that the prototype was not very finished, it was not very sexy, and all of that, but it was a working prototype. He could have launched a business on that.
Mm.
So how do you compete with that, or how do you fight that, or how do you stay relevant in that scenario? Is by surrounding yourself with hungry, talented people who are going to go out and get this for you, and they're going to get this to you, and then you bring in your experience and your leverage. I'll take a pause now. I've been talking nonstop for a few minutes, so
Fantastic answer, sir.
if any of the
And
other ladies want to
obviously,
chime in, or if there's any
it's so
questions.
cool. It's so cool to see that you have put it the point of lovable forward, because obviously I have done that, like for my own web programming. So we have a subject in college called web programming, and we had to make a mini project, working project of a site, of a country site, right? हमने वो prompt डाला, and on the spot it created, and it is just so like bizarre to see that. Oh my God, AI is here to destroy us. But more on that later. Now I'm jumping to Nisha, ma'am. So before all of this, this whole call, uh, we were having a conversation where we were discussing why Nisha ma'am is a little bit inactive lately. So she told me that there's a new design lead in the house, right? Now, a very interesting scenario that everyone will go through in this life is either your senior will get replaced, और जो नीचे का क्वेश्चन था वो पूछ लिया, कवर कर लिया कि ऊपर से नीचे का कैसा पर्सपेक्टिव होता है, शेयर्ड बाय निकलांक सर. अब नीचे से ऊपर का देखते हैं मैम. जब कोई ऐसा हैवी लीड या एक ऐसा डिसीजन मेकर जब कंपनी का चेंज होता है, ऑब्वियसली जूनियर्स को बहुत ज्यादा इफेक्ट होता है. उसके हिसाब से काम करना, उसके हिसाब से सब कुछ करना एंड एवरीथिंग जो उनके नीचे काम कर रहे हैं, राइट? So how did you do that? Plus, coming on the time management side also, because you're doing content creation, right? Because I'll always recommend this to everyone. As you can see that Nisha ma'am को मैंने इतना ज़्यादा मक्खन मारा था कि she started making content, and look where she has gotten, right? She has 15,000 followers almost, which is insane, right? On her own, she's entrepreneurial with her videos also, and that's how she was able to land over like 2 lakhs, 4 lakh views on like single reels. That's insane, right? On just Figma basic reels. So, ma'am, दो क्वेश्चन है इसके अंदर मिक्स्ड बेसिकली. जब कुछ ऐसा होता है, जब कोई हैवी डिसीजन मेकर रिप्लेस हो जाता है, तो आप फिर उसके हिसाब से एकदम से अडैप्टेशन, एकदम से चेंजिंग होने लग जाती है, तो प्रॉब्लम आती है. तो हाउ डू यू डील विद दैट, प्लस मैनेज योर टाइम, बिकॉज यू आर इन्वेस्टेड इन 5-6 थिंग्स एक साथ.
ठीक है, okay. I'll start with the first question. See, I would agree. People are different. See, my way of doing things is slightly different than others. But how do I see it as somebody is gonna come, मतलब चाहे कोई मेरे से नीचे आ रहा है या चाहे कोई मेरे से ऊपर आ रहा है, I am not gonna welcome the person with certain attitude or ego कि नहीं, this person is gonna be wrong for sure. Not really. What if not? What if he actually brings in something good? So now he has been hired by there's a product head to us. I really believe in the person. I really align with what he says and all. And if he has hired the person, I believe the guy. Okay? I should give the person fair chance, right? So whatever he was trying to do, I gave no judgment. No judgment for at least 1 month or 2 months, because this guy will also take some time to understand how things work. Now, यहाँ पे already design team is there. This guy who's the head of the design team is new. He has to learn, not just about me, but about how other teams also work. So he will also make certain mistakes along the way, right? So I can't be passing judgment, because when I was I could just relate it to myself. When I was new, I was also lost. I was also trying to understand people, right? So he's doing the same thing. And also, when you give the person a fair chance, then you will know that yes, whatever guy is saying is actually making sense. So I think one skill that has actually worked for me a lot is you should know when to give up. Seriously. कई बार ना ऐसे you get married to your work, you get married to your designs. Like one particular incident where I had created the final UI which was supposed to go on Zeppelin or whatever for the development. Now this design lead, he says that I just want to take a look at it. So he looked at it. Now this morning I'm supposed to put the screens out. He calls me, he has a discussion with me, and he suggests some changes. Now my first instinct was although yaar ye kyun kar rahe hain hum, now it's going to be delayed or whatever, but as the Like, yes, that was there, but I knew, okay, I have to listen to feedback at least. I have to accept the feedback, whether I work on it or not, that's a later thing. So when I heard the feedback, so by the end of the discussion, I was like, makes sense. How do I fight this? Can't fight this. Like,
Yeah.
I knew that I had to give up because whatever he said was made sense.
Hmm.
So you have to stop judging people. You can take feedbacks, whatever, like consume things what people are saying, and then you don't have to react. You take your time and then respond.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
yeah, so whatever, and that I mean, it's not about a hard skill, but it's rather about like how you take things in general. So I gave the person a fair chance, and I think he's great. Like,
Hmm.
yes, it does make sense. So,
No,
so yeah,
100%.
that's one thing.
Yeah.
Another thing about the time management, see, it becomes really hectic. I wouldn't lie about this. But what works for me is I like what I do. And it's not just about the content creation. I love my job. I
Correct.
am not one of those people जिनको काम पसंद नहीं है और वो बस मतलब सिर्फ पैसा कमाने के लिए कर रहा है. I would say पैसा to me is byproduct to what I'm doing. I get to earn money with what I'm doing, but rest I love going to office. I'm a people person. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है लोगों से मिलना, बात करना. तो मैं जाती हूँ ऑफिस. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है वीडियोस बनाना. Sometimes I have delivered silly reels to Vansh. Like I was expecting that I don't think a senior person should be doing this kind of reel, but I was like, okay, let me just give it a shot. Why not? So I like doing experiments, even if they're silly, even if they're wrong, but that's
Hmm.
fine. So I end up making time for things because I love doing those things. Yeah.
Wow. Makes sense. And I think the silly things that you're mentioning, no, I think that gives character to your whole personal brand, which indirectly gives a lot of value to the personal brand itself so that people can actually relate. Right. So I think,
It's like I can't lie to
yeah.
कितने दिन तक मैं झूठ बोलूंगी कि अरे मैं ऐसी नहीं मैं हूँ ऐसी क्या कर सकती.
Exactly. You know, you can't be like all time, वो अच्छा अच्छा आपको sophisticated रहना है because otherwise that sophistication won't get you the main fun that you were looking for. As you just said कि आपको काम करने में मजा आता है. अगर आप हर चीज को टेम्पलेटाइज करोगे तो आपको खुद मजा नहीं आएगा after a point, right? You wanna do some
Yeah, yeah.
customizations. All right.
I am one of those people जो रील अपलोड करने के बाद 4 बार तो मैं खुद ही देखती हूँ. Oh, this was nice. कितना अच्छा है.
No, 100%. I can relate to that because मैं खुद वो करता हूँ, so I relate to you 100%. Now, moving to Anjali ma'am. Another interesting question, guys. इसके बाद मैं चुप हो जाऊंगा ना आप लोगों को opportunity दूंगा, obviously. कब तक बड़बड़ करेगा ये इंसान है ना? Now, the question is for Anjali ma'am. Ma'am, you have led multiple companies, right? As a lead role, you have gone to India. You're in India. You have gone to USA, and now you have come back. आपने बहुत सारे लोगों से बात करी है, आपने बहुत सारे लोगों की देखा है कि वो कैसे काम करते हैं, उसी हिसाब से again the whole why adaptation was the main pointer today to all of these three questions, because obviously as a senior person you have done that, and that's a sort of like your Thanos में से six stones में से एक stone adaptation है ना? So I want to understand, जब इतने सारी आपने कंपनीज के साथ अंदर एज अ लीड रोल काम किया, राइट? डिफरेंट पीपल ऑल द टाइम, डिफरेंट एवरीथिंग डिफरेंट, right? Wanted to ask you ki, how did you first of all have like how did you choose, right? I want to know more, and you can give us a story time also. Ki, how do you decide on when to leave a lead role, because that's something very difficult, because वो सोचने, because see I have led three companies, right? अब जब आप कुछ एक सोचते हो बंद करने की, तो वो डर लगता है यार थोड़ा सा कि भाई अरे यार शिट ये हो जाएगा ये हो जाएगा, राइट? दैट्स माय पर्सपेक्टिव ऑब्वियसली. अब लाइक एक इंटर्नशिप करा था मैं, तो वो शेयर कर सकता हूँ कि व्हेन आई वाज लीविंग इट, आई वाज लाइक गेटिंग इमोशनल, एंड आई वाज लाइक भाई अरे यार आई वांट स्टिल वांट वर्क, बट और अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी है, बट स्टिल आई वांट वर्क, यू नो. हाउ डू यू डील विद दैट? And secondly, how did you adapt to a whole new change from company A to company B?
Okay. So, yeah, this is something I have always lived my life. And I would say, or rather, I've told people is uh, डर जो होता है ना, that is, I would say it is good in a way. Like you should be on the edge.
Yeah.
most of the times, and that kind of drives you. The more you fall, the more you know, more you have the learnings. I mean, not like philosophical or something, but in a real sense. Like, see, I was always at this juncture where I was like, okay, now what do I do? Like, I did my graduation in physics and computers as two major subjects, and then I was like, okay, let me give entrance for design. That time CDEC was really good, do that diploma, and then I'll figure it out. I'll learn my way while doing my job and all of that. But then again, I was like, okay, I gave my entrance for coding, for MBA, for design. I was like, okay, what do I do? Then again, the instinct, I thought, okay, let me pick up design. I jumped into design. Then when I was a graphic designer, visual designer, again came the time when Nikalank was also talking about is there was UX was emerging, right? In 2006, 7, 8, where still India was not so aware about like what is user experience design. At that time, Tech Mahindra had a 60-member user experience design group across 3 locations, which was really fascinating. And I thought, like, okay, and I always had that fear. Like, I'm not a former design student per se. I have not studied art, though. Like, I have inclination, I have understanding, and like I have given like even architecture like, entrance exam. So I definitely knew, but then I was like, okay, will I fit? Will I sustain? But and that is what taught me to be on the edge always, like what is going on, be aware of it, be observant. What are you learning from the people around you? Always whatever advice, like even the way Nisha was talking about, it's like you get back, like the more you work in different situations from different people, you learn. And that is when I thought, okay, I don't know UX, and probably that matches very well with my scientific or analytical thinking, and I probably would do a better job. So let me pick that up so that I am broadening my kind of skill set over there. So again, like I was scared during that time, like how will I pick up and all of that, and I picked up that. And again, going there, I thought, no, I need to be strong in this field so that I can like sustain here and strong enough. So I did my certification, I became expert in user research. And then I was like, okay, now this is done, then unless I jump, I would be like really comfortable here. And as a person, I don't like to be comfortable at any spot. If the more
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable you make yourself, the more opportunities you open for yourself. So I think that's kind of a trick.
Okay.
Don't settle anywhere. Like, don't be comfortable. Like, keep meeting people, keep changing your situations, just throw yourself into different scenarios. Again, another trick to that, what question you have asked is, never say no to things. Like that kind of, probably the people from our generation, it came with that, like, okay, whatever you give, we'll do it. So we've done whatever came our way. So I jumped too soon into the things before even I knew, because I
Hmm.
thought, हाँ ठीक है, ना बोलने से अच्छा सीख ही जाऊंगी, मतलब क्या होगा बुरा. So even a few things about scaling design business, be it in Mumbai or be it in US. US was a totally different terrain. Like I knew Mumbai, it's your own ground, and it's like a known territory. Some other country is going to be way too difficult. But I thought, ठीक है, क्या होगा, जाके देख लेते हैं,
Yeah.
लोग तो है ही, हेल्प करने के लिए, सीख तो जाएंगे वैसे करके. So one is like, yeah, always be on the edge. डर अच्छा ही होता है. And then never say no to things. You end up learning, or from the failure also you learn. Yeah.
No, 100%. I agree with what you have said because वो जो uncomfortable वाला जो zone जो हम कहते हैं, right? Our generation is very scared of it, and it like the whole two things that you have mentioned, that always be on the edge and comfort zone के बाहर ही obviously learning, and ये बहुत छोटी चीजें लगती है लोगों को, but I keep reading about this again and again कि भाई बाहर निकलो है ना, बहुत कुछ करना पड़ता है, you have to do 5 things. So I discovered this very cool sort of storyline with a deep meaning attached. to it. I might be wrong, but it helped me discover and motivate few people. So it goes something like this: that if you can do like, if I give you like two juggling balls to juggle, right? You will be able to do that easily. If I give you 5, right? आपकी 3 हो पाएगी, right? But आपको ये पता नहीं था कि आपकी 3 हो सकती है. Do you guys get me? कि you don't actually discover your potential until you have been in that pressure cooker. So ये मैंने अपने blog में भी लिखा था, बहुत बचकान सा है, but ठीक है. It was very cool, right? Thank you so much, guys, for the answers, and I'm amazed by all the questions, and I'll obviously improve all of these areas in my life also. And ये एक अच्छा motto बन जाएगा, always be on the edge, Anjali ma'am 2025. Crazy. Now we have questions from people. They are getting eager. They were raising hands. So as I said again, saying again that introductions played an important role. So जिसने सबसे पहला introduce किया था उसको सबसे पहला मौका देंगे. So Archie, are you there in the chat? In the call?
Hello, yes, yes.
Yes. Do you have a question?
Yes, I have a very important question to ask. So this is very
remember
specific question.
you need to direct this to any one of the speaker. Got it?
Okay, I got it. I would like Nisha ma'am to answer the question. So, like 1 year ago, I noticed that most of my seniors got placed in companies just by showing like some budgeting app or savings app, something like that. But now it's like my UX design professor, he said that it wouldn't work now in this scenario because there are so many AIs coming in. So, what is the new buzzword, I would say, like what do you see in a portfolio and you're like, yeah, I want this person on my team. And second part to this question is that when you are hiring a person, the what if like just imagine that you have two portfolios in front of you, one of a proper design student, one from a M.Tech or B.Tech student who has moved into UX UI. So, in what cases do you consider hiring the B.Tech student over the design student?
Okay, ठीक है. Shall I answer?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So talking about the first question, that a budgeting app worked 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and why it wouldn't work now. Things are a lot redundant these days. See, portfolio, yes, it's a step for you to get an interview, but does it guarantee a job? Absolutely not. If I tell you very, very honestly, copy pasting is this. It's so easy. I personally have seen, like, literally in the same like I was hiring for one position, I got 5 candidates with the same portfolio, same project, didn't even change the name. So yes, like redundancy is so much that this won't work much unless you can tell me the exact problem statement. You can tell me why you have taken a certain decision and what and all. If you really have the clarity on what you were building, why you were building, for whom you were building, why you had a certain decisions, what were the trade-offs, how the team worked and all of that, unless you have questions to all these answers, it's a no for the hiring. It's as simple as that. So yes, and it's, when it comes to your portfolio and all, don't look for problem statements that are already there in portfolios. You don't have to look for problem statements on the internet. Find problem statements around you in your daily life. Like, right, when you'll go to a company, nobody will come up with a random problem statement, aaj maza aayega ye karenge. You have to figure out problem statements surrounding, like, आपके आजू बाजू ही ढूंढनी पड़ेगी, right, in your daily life, what you're looking
Correct.
at, even your users, आपको उनके daily life के around problem. So identifying problems, identifying conflicts, identifying gaps, this is what people are looking for. Solve that. You don't have to like run behind a fancy problem statement just because someone XYZ did that and it's so like it's so popular on internet. And now like I've seen people redesigning Google Calendar saying it's very cluttered. Yes, to you, to me, no, absolutely not.
Yes.
So find problem statement around yourself. That will work way better. It could be a very small problem statement. That is absolutely fine. But it has to be real. It has to be relatable.
Correct.
So that is one thing. And the other the other thing that you asked me was if there was a portfolio, like there were two portfolios, one from like a design background, a college or something, and somebody who has learned it from somewhere else, whom would I choose? That's the question, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. A lot of the companies, I would agree that they do use your education background as a filter, because like imagine, or काफी बड़ी companies like as per my experience थोड़ा बड़ी company करते हैं, maybe Nikalank would be able to comment on that better. But yeah, for some companies it does work like a filter, that they would prefer somebody from a design education background with the assumption that they know better versus.
Correct.
But if you go into startup culture, तो वहां पे ऐसा कुछ नहीं. If you ask me, because again, even I have particularly seen people from design background who have zero knowledge about problem statement. Yes, they know tools. Yes, they know Framer, Figma, everything fancy possible. But do they know how to solve a problem? Absolutely not. So it doesn't matter. I would look at their portfolio irrespective of वो किस background से आते हैं. I would look at how they have solved the problem. I will try to understand if I will try to look at something which interests me also, to even have a conversation with them. So a lot of the company, I don't think that these days this like matter. I have personally hired people from like very big design like schools, colleges and all, and these people did not end up surviving even 6 months into the company. And the pure reason
Got
is
it.
they didn't know how to solve the problem. Yes, their portfolios are fancy and all of that, but it did not work out. So focus on solving, like tools and all. These are execution stuff. They will help you once you know what to do. If you don't know what to do, फिर तो कोई tool help नहीं कर सकता.
Correct. Correct.
Prompt भी देना पड़ेगा ना, AI को क्या बनाना है भाई.
हाँ, सही है.
So focus that. मतलब कभी-कभी like this is my new design lead says that some like थोड़ा पीछे जाओ, like close Figma, you know, just close the laptop, low pen paper and just try to do things, just try to figure out things and then go into execution mode. हम इतना जल्दी भाग जाते हैं execution mode में that we don't think about the basic stuff. So yeah,
Correct.
focus on problem statement, focus on thinking more.
Correct. Correct.
वो
Nikalank sir, can you comment?
yeah.
Yeah, so similar views. What I would recommend is don't chase buzzwords. Okay, because anybody worth you be able to pick up that you are here with buzzwords and will drop you like a hot brick, right? So now personally, I use portfolios as a screener. Your portfolio needs to be articulate. Your portfolio needs to have structured thinking. It should showcase that. And then I don't hire without a test. Okay, आज की तारीख में portfolios बनाना बहुत आसान हो गया है. It's become very easy. So as a policy, wherever I go, whenever I recruit, I make sure that there is a live test that the person has to do, because it shows problem solving skills. It shows structural thinking hai nahi hai, right? And one of the questions I think is which works, or rather has worked for me very well, is you ask the person to describe 3 failures in their life. Believe me, दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो जाता है. You can know exactly how deep the person is in terms of bringing things together. So short answer is, like what Nisha said, pick up a problem that's worth solving, and show why you're solving it. Try and go beyond just the design of it, right? So even if you're picking up like the Google Calendar, it's very cluttered, is a very generic statement, right? Are you adding any value? Have you spoken to 20 people, figured out if it's cluttered for everyone, figured out what's the extent of the problem? Is it just something that you dreamt up with? Show effort. If you show effort, I think that is something that leads from my generation, or who've been doing this for about a decade and a half and plus. They like that. They like genuineness. They like effort. They like, because that is what is missing. I really get worried about your generation because, uh, and I don't know how to say this without sounding, mean, but y'all are fragile, right? Y'all are so fragile, and y'all are not willing to get out there, and put yourselves in tough situations. Now, I'm not saying that you put yourself in tough situation, otherwise nothing's going to happen. But what I am saying is that if you want to really stand out, you need to be able to navigate tough waters,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to be in a generation full of people who just don't, you know, want to rough it out or, think beyond your typical problem statement and things like that. I don't know if I'm making sense, but my 2 cents on this topic would be genuine,
Hmm.
right? In
Correct.
your portfolio, be genuine. Pick up a
Correct.
problem statement, create a portfolio that's honest, right? And don't be afraid to give a test, right? Don't be
Yes.
afraid to put yourself out there and really work for it.
Sir, but like, what if suppose I personally, what if I have suppose may come up with a good solution to the problem statement, but then I'm weak on the designing part of it, like the layouting and the aesthetics. So does that matter?
No, to me, it doesn't. Honestly, if you show me product thinking, if you show me strategic thinking, and if you show me a solution that I think is brilliant, then I'm not going to worry about making implementation your problem, right? But there are
Right.
people who might think otherwise. There are leads who like to hire people who can do alone. So I have a very different way that I look at different levels of people. Like I said, around 25 to 30% of my team is very young. They're like, they're like 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds. So from them, I'm not expecting a lot of deep thinking. From them, I'm expecting hard work. From them, I'm expecting
Yeah.
like really crazy mood boards, and from them, I'm expecting they're like my front runners. So they need to go and explore, unfiltered. Then, when it comes to
Correct.
slightly more senior people in my team, like 3, 4 years, from them, I'm expecting a little bit of strategy. I'm expecting, tool crafting and things like that. So they're the ones who will probably be able to pick this information and put it together. And then the senior, more like 7, 8 years seniors, them I'm expecting you to put it together into a solution and be able to sell it to the
Yes, sir.
stakeholders. So that's how I've structured my team, right?
Correct.
And there's a very specific role based on the energy that you have and the talent that you have that you play. So I think try and find that for yourself. So when you're going out and you're also supposed to interview your recruiter. I think what this generation is looking for is asking the right questions. They're not asking questions like, what role does design play in your product, strategy and things like that. They're not. I don't think they're getting involved with the recruiter. It's very like, okay, you ask me a question, I answer, and then I wait. No, engage them. More often than not, you'll see that if you engage them, the chances of you getting the next round are much higher.
Correct. So please let us know when your firm is hiring.
So we're hiring right now. We've got 2 open positions. Check it out on LinkedIn. You can write to us.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Thank you, Monidipta. That's
Kelly,
very
brother,
sweet. I really idolize her.
crazy. Uh, Thank you so much, Nisha and Nikalank, for answering these. Next up, we have Nishchay. Nishchay, are you there? Nishchay,
Hi, hi. Am I
what's up?
audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only question I have is like it is very generic question, but still coming from like a design background, I am a first year communication design student, and I wanted to know whether in hiring the hirers prefer UX UI students over communication design students, or a person who knows both visual graphics and UI UX both.
I'll direct this to
Sorry, who's
Anjali,
that
ma'am.
direct?
I'll direct this to Anjali, ma'am.
Okay, so Nisha, I just want to understand your question that are you saying that do companies prefer UI UX designers over communication designer? Is that your question?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and then what do you know? What do you want to know from it? That how can you like? Why do they prefer, right?
Yes, ma'am. Also, if I'm you're pursuing communication, like should I start doing UI UX side by side just to for my skills and for the hiring purpose also?
Okay, so one thing is like what I believe is when anyone is looking for a job, it's not just a tick to be done. Like, okay, I've got a job, right? So there is a lot of thing that goes in. Like, it has to be a win-win from both the sides. Like, you want a job, and the company also want a good talent to be hired. So you need to understand it's not a one-day thing or a one-month thing or even a one-year thing. You have a great, you should be like aiming that, okay, I have these skill sets. I need to put it in a good place to work so that I'm going to gain experience and the company also going to gain something good from my skills. So to answer your question, my take, and I mean, I'm happy to know other views on it, but it depends. That company may be wanting UI UX designers, but there would be a requirement for communication designers. You should focus your kind of search towards companies who need communication designers. For that, if your question is, should you start learning UI UX skill designing for your own benefit if you want, you can. But then don't jump into it or don't change what your core is or what your interest is or what your passion or skill is, which is communication design, into like UI UX design. I mean, Nikalank, you raised your hand. You want to say something?
No, no, please finish your point, then I will.
Yeah. So my take to that is I would like to know, and do connect me over LinkedIn or any other media. I would like to discuss with you in depth also later. But then if you think that companies are only hiring UI UX designing, there is another side to it. Is not all companies are matured enough to even understand what is a UI UX designer, what is a communication designer, and that's the problem with people in the leadership over there. Like I'm saying, like not everyone, like some person not related to design could be hiring. Like I have faced it in my current organization. Like I had to educate them to know what we should be doing here, and right from writing all the processes and bringing them up to the speed and writing the test for different levels of designers to be hired. So it's not your fault, first of all, that companies just want UI UX designer. They don't know. Okay. You should
Okay.
be able to put across your skills strong enough. But first of all, target that what are the companies that really require your skills, and focus on that. And then go to this, make a second layer kind of a thing. Okay, the companies who kind of want mix, like are open to communication designer, also UI UX designer, try to tell them that how you can bring in the value. You can do some company research also. You can understand and put up some case study about that company, that, okay, see, this is how I've done it. So I would recommend not to change what you're doing just because companies are hiring UI UX designers.
Sorry, may I? Okay.
Yes, please.
निश्चय तू क्या करना चाहता है?
Good question.
पर्सनली तो मैं अभी कम्युनिकेशन ही करना चाहता हूँ, लाइक मुझे उसमें ही इंटरेस्ट था तभी वही चूज किया था मैंने।
कितने साल का है?
अभी 20, I'll turn 20 this year.
What time है? See, I'll tell you one thing, and I kind of agree with what Anjali was saying. Don't shape yourself based on what is out there. You're at an age where you need to discover what you are good at and what you will wake up in the morning for on your own. Right? So today, whether a company needs a UI UX designer or not, or needs a graphic designer or not, that should not be a worry. Your worry should be that you're the best at what you do. If you're the best illustrator, if you're the best animator, believe me, you'll make more money than UI UX designers can ever think of. Right? And you'll be able to make good money sitting on a mountain somewhere, not having to talk to anybody. That's how much a company is willing to chase talent today. right? If you are an illustrator who knows how to use AI tools like Runway, like Mid Journey, like GPT, and create crazy content, okay, you don't have to worry about what a company wants. They will come chasing you. You need to figure out what you really are good at. You need to be fantastic. What is the point in you learning UI UX and being a mediocre UI UX designer and not being able to survive 3 months in a team because a team wanted a UI UX designer? Is it something that will make you wake up every morning hungry to know more, do more, be your best? That's what you need to figure out, right? करियर की बाद में सोच, पहले स्किल डेवलप कर, और स्किल ऐसी होनी चाहिए कि फाड़ दे. Like you should have a portfolio or an Instagram page which blows people's minds. Then you don't have to worry about what companies want. Then you'll have to worry about which company to say yes to, because there'll be so many of them standing at your door saying that, hey, Nishay, can you please do this for us? So I would recommend, honestly, think about what you're good at, really, really good at, and be the damn best at it. Spend the next 6 to 12 months just honing that skill, putting it up on social media, hashtagging the shit out of it. Once your content travels, and if it's like really high quality content, just sit back and relax. Money will come to you.
Okay, yeah.
And I think this tip is for everyone in the call, right? Uh, this is what I have
Yeah, yeah.
learned. This is what I have learned from sir only. Sir ने मेरे को ही बताया था पहले in one of his sessions. भाई ये तो थोड़ा है like what is the reason of getting up in the bed if you don't have a reason why are you up? You know, hits hard. Next up we have Adarsh. Adarsh, are you there?
Hello. Good evening. Am I audible? Am I
Yep.
audible, sir?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Good evening to all the panel members. I would like to dedicate my question to Nikalank, sir.
Bol bhai.
Sir, I myself being from a BTech background, a final year student, which is about to start in a month or so. Sir, what is the roadmap would you guide to someone aspiring to be a designer, UI UX, considering the fact that I have basic knowledge, basic terminology, and familiar with that? Second
Why do
question,
you
sir,
not want to do
being from a
engineering?
tier
Why do you not want to?
3
I think he has bad internet.
IT college, it gets quite difficult to sit for the placement in that college.
Adarsh, please fix your internet. And I think Niklank sir
Just a minute, sir. Just a
got your question. Take a minute, and I'll pass this
okay.
to her. Like, I'll pass this opportunity to Harvalav. Next up, we have Harvalav. Harvalav, you can throw your questions, and then we'll come back to Adarsh.
Sir,
Adarsh, please fix it.
internet connection, okay. Sir, is it okay?
Others, maybe
Yeah,
you
I
can
can.
type your question till the time I ask my question. So you'll be able
Rejoin.
to.
Adarsh, you can rejoin,
Okay, fine.
and I'll call you back. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hi guys. So whatever we were, I think you've covered a lot of the points, but I have a question. I think I'll give it to Nikalank sir only because you've explored. You're from a time where you explored a lot of things in your career. From, you've stitched to a lot of things. You've explored a lot, and someone who is still in a design school right now, this rush that we are in, our generation at least, or right now, the design field, and this entire concept of grind is actually very overwhelming, to produce, to post, to prove yourself, and especially being in a design environment 24/7, because being in a design school, it's even more stressful. So do you personally think that right now, after design has taken such a big spark, the entire field, are we losing a space to actually pause absorb and truly understand what design is, because like you said, you have had the time to actually, and that's the entire concept of a design school also, where we get to choose our own classes, we get to experiment with materials, we get to actually see what we want to do. But because everything is so rushed now, what would you advise people like me and my age right now? How do we actually either create that balance, or how do we actually pause and absorb design so nicely and find ourselves there?
That's a great question. See, while the advantage at my time was that there wasn't a lot of definition, so we could very, easily move, from here to there. The advantage with your time is that there is so much information that you don't need to start from scratch and you don't need to make all the mistakes on your own, right? So you can cover more ground faster. So I know I didn't talk about the positives of this time, and it's not all doom and gloom. And I think the ladies on the panel will also agree with me that we are very worried about you guys, but it's not that we think that you don't have talent or you don't have a future or any of that, right? I mean, I think we see that, but the thing is, there's a lot of dust and cloud around which we want to try and help clear for you guys. Um, Again, so what I would recommend is start saying different things to yourself first. So first, don't worry about proving yourself. First think about finding yourself. Right? First find yourself. Then you don't need to prove yourself. Then once you know who you are and what you want to do, and when you start doing that, the proof automatically starts showcasing. It automatically starts coming out. Like what I was telling the other gentleman before you. If you really start getting good at what you do, this is the age you should be building skills, right? Don't worry about the career and all of those things. At this point, you should be thinking about, do I like photography? Do I like illustration? Do I like building digital products? Do I like building physical products? Physical product design, I don't know why people are not taking seriously. There's so much scope in physical product design. Everything tactile, everything to do with wood, fabric, is going to change the world. I don't know why people are not taking mixed reality, as a subject. There are so many different fields that you can get into, and I think this romance of UI UX is kind of blinding, right? People are not really going beyond this. There is just so much more out there. So I would say spend time in exploring that, right? Try and find an internship with somebody who's working in the mixed reality space. Try and find time with somebody who's working in the gaming industry, right? So I would say explore what you like. If I sat down with you and I spent 30 minutes with you to figure out um, what you want and what you're good at, I don't know how much of answers you will have at this stage. And it's okay for you to not have it. I'm not saying that you should. But over the next, say, 6 months to 12 months, my recommendation always to young talent is spend time in figuring out what you're really good at. Spend time in figuring out that something that gets you excited every day in the morning without anything, right? Like you should be like, oh my God, okay, today I'm going to get to work on this. Today, I'm going to get to complete this. Today I'm going to go and meet with this person. That should be the energy out of what you're doing. Once you find that and you do a lot of that, one of the things I talk about in all my trainings, I recently started teaching at Somaya and all that. Everything is about practice. The more you practice, the more you do, the more you'll get better, the more it'll start showing in when you deliver, right? There's this guy called Irani AI. What's his name? Vansh, that influencer who we met.
Kaizad.
The guy who makes all this AI content, Kazan. You look at his page, you look at what he started with, and you look at the content he's doing today. It's only been 12 months. He's mind blowing because he's single mindedly forgotten everything else. He's like, मुझे यही करना है because उसको उसमें बहुत मजा आ रहा है. And he's teaching that. Now he's come to a place that he's become so good. He's teaching that, right? He's creating content for people. I mean, and he's not a designer. He's got no design training. It's just something that he fell in love with. So, and he just got down to honing that skill. He was like, I'll make the best damn AI powered videos in the shortest span of time in the most aggressive manner that I can. So I would say explore, explore what's happening around in the world, explore what you are going to be, really enjoying, as a professional, right? And then just work at getting goddamn good at it. Bus or kuch mat socho. If you can do one illustration in a day or one painting in a day, is there a way for you to do one and a half in the next day? Is there a way for you to do two in the next week? Right? If you're doing a painting with watercolors, are you somebody who can do also oil? Right? Are you somebody who can also do, I don't know, wood carvings? Like, if you add layers to your skill, a career will automatically form, right? A demand will automatically rise, right? So I don't know if this directly answers your question, but my thing would be worry more about what motivates you, what drives you, rather than what is out there, right? I don't know. What do you guys think, Nisha and Anjali? You guys are awfully quiet, so I don't know if I'm just rambling or.
See, I think what she said, what she asked holds the answer to it. She's saying that people are running behind the buzzwords and the tools and all of that. And trust me, these are not the people companies are looking for. They're looking for talents, people who can do stuff, okay? Not just the executioner. Somebody has to think also, solve problems. So already the fluff is going away. Why do you want to be part of it? Don't be part of it.
I'll give you a simple
Yeah.
example. There's a there's a sorry, I'm just cutting in. There's a designer in my team. We were working on a brief, okay, and we were supposed to create a few images for a campaign. So I was toying around with one of the tools, and he tells me that, "Sir, आप रहने दो, मैं करके देता हूँ, right? I'll do it and I'll send it." मैं बोला नहीं ठीक है, you do it, but I'm also just exploring. I'm just experimenting. So we'll go with whatever you're doing, but I just want to play around with the tool. It had been a while since I've used a design tool myself, right? When we actually wrote the prompts and the images came out, the images that I could dole out from the same tool were way better than what he did. And I'll tell you why. He's a better designer than I am. He's much faster, he's much younger, he's got a lot more energy. But I used to be a photographer. So I know sequences and details while shooting a photograph, which I used in the prompt, right? Whereas he was using a tool to write his prompt that he was putting into another tool to get images. So he wasn't really understanding the prompts that he was using. So what I'm saying is that even if you are using new age tools, even if you're using, something that's not been there before or whatever, or you have exclusive access to, it'll boil down to your problem solving skills, your talent. It'll boil down to how intelligent you are, and mix bagging stuff and things like that. Nothing will guarantee you, uh, you know, or rather, let me put it this way: even if something guarantees you a spot, nothing will guarantee you the stay. The spot you will get, the stay you won't.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, Adarsh, are you back?
Yes, sir, I'm back. Is it okay now?
Yeah, perfect.
Sir, my question was to Nikalank, sir. Sir, as a final year student
Yeah.
from BTech, so what roadmap should I follow, sir? And my second
भाई
question
देख,
was,
अगर तू design,
yes, sir.
sorry,
Can I,
second question was.
second question was, sir, being from a tier 3 IT college, it gets quite difficult to sit for the design placement since companies are mostly towards development only. So to go to the off campus, how should I stand out from others?
Okay, so I'll answer your first question first. if you're trying to get into design because engineering or engineers are not getting paid enough or designers are getting paid more, I don't know if that's the right reason, right?
Sir, the reason
For
was कि
design,
I explored
sorry.
multiple things. Sir, the reason is कि I explored multiple things in my first year and second year and half third year too. This was a field that excites me कि हाँ मतलब यहाँ टाइम देके सर कभी ये नहीं लगा कि इतना टाइम दे रहे हैं.
Okay, so interest है. So
Yes.
it's not just about the career, but yeah, okay. See, I know being in a third tier city is a challenge. To be honest, you may not have the kind of opportunities that a Bangalore and a Mumbai or a Gurgaon or a Pune might have. Um, if I was in your place, I would have done two things, right? Considering the way the world is today, uh, I would have spent a lot of time online learning fundamentals of design, figuring out what kind of design I want to get into, whether it's UI, UX, graphics, communication, product design. So I would have, there's lots of free courses, there's a lot of free content. And the second thing I would have done is I would have started looking for work. So I would have gone to Fiverr, I would have gone to all kinds of platforms, and I would have picked up work, right? That's what I did. I started working when I was 17, right? Because I realized that there's no better way to learn than to actually get your hands dirty, right? So, and then your third tier disadvantage goes away because the minute you go online, your location is no longer your disadvantage, right? Then you just need a really strong internet connection, and that's it. So learning curve बढ़ा, learn, go to lawsofux.com, go to YouTube, go to Stanford, there are so many really good institutes with free content for you to learn design. That's number one. Number two, pick up work. Go to fiverr.com, register yourself, put up your portfolio, go to LinkedIn, start networking, start picking up assignments, email studios, write to Pineapple, Lollipop, Brusira, One Thing. इन लोगों को बस emails लिख कि भाई आई एम अवेलेबल, मेरे को कुछ भी काम दो, काम करना शुरू कर. काम करने से तेरे को सीख मिलेगी, नेटवर्क मिलेगा, तेरी थर्ड टियर डिसएडवांटेज चला जाएगा. थर्ड थिंग, कोई रिश्तेदार ढूंढ. Find people you know in Pune, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, Gurgaon. Tell them that, hey, listen, I'm willing to do anything. Can you give me 6 months to stay with you? कोई ना कोई कहीं ना कहीं तो निकलेगा, right? Somebody will be okay with you coming and bunking with them, even if it means living their living room and sleeping on the sofa. Do it, right? If you've identified that the third tier city or your location is your advantage, then solve for that. The way to solve it is go online. The way to solve it is find somebody, a friend, a relative, somebody who's in a Pune or a Bangalore or a Mumbai or a Gurgaon. Move there, figure it out with them, get yourself some work, build a steady stream of income, and see then if you can move into a hostel, and that's how you grow. 27 years ago, when I wanted to learn photography, मैंने चाय वाले को जाके बोला कि भाई आज से इस स्टूडियो में चाय मैं पिलाऊंगा. And what I used to do is that once I used to finish college, I used to go there and I used to serve tea at that photo studio, because whichever photographer used to be there, it was a big studio. They would be working on really big assignments, and it got me, free lessons on lighting. I learned studio lighting, portrait lighting, all kinds of things by serving tea, right? So I was the guy who had the gamcha on my shoulder, and I used to have that 6 cat ka glass ka wo wireframe thing where I used to go and I used to be like, okay, your evening tea is here. So you got to hustle, man. You got to hustle. You got to figure out a way to get out of your disadvantage.
100%. And I
I
think
think I have,
Answers.
yeah, I have something to say here. See, like as Nikalank said, you should do what you should work on your skills more. See, when I started, अगर मैं बात करूँ कि मैंने actually में design कितना पढ़ा है, honestly 2 महीना. That's when I started learning about design. I went to Coursera and I focused on the foundations because मुझे बस जानना था कि होता क्या है. And then what I have learned is by actually doing it practically. Maybe it was a failed attempt, kabhi bakwas tha, kabhi acha tha, kabhi bahut hi bura tha. But I was trying to do things. Initially, when I got opportunities, not I was literally told on face that we are not hiring you because you're the best one, but we are hiring you because you're the most passionate one. We know you will do things. Acha bura jaisa bhi hoga, but you will figure it out. And that's what you need to have.
Anjali's story भी same है. You were also an engineer, right? You were in technology.
Yeah.
And then you moved into
Same.
design.
Yeah, same. That's what. So I totally agree with both of you. And then, I mean, one thing that you make your core strong. That is something. Then when there are ton of people and there are ton of companies who want to have you, which is like just like we were talking to the other guy who was talking about communication design, right? So there are tons of people who want your skill, but make yourself desirable. Like, okay, no one else can do that
Yeah.
job what you are good at.
Yeah. नहीं, and I'm telling you, if you start hustling ना, if you start working, तेरे को इतनी सारी चीजें सीखने मिलेंगी ना, बहुत मजा आएगा. The thing is, don't be embarrassed easily. You can't be embarrassed easily. As a person in design, as a person in a right brain career, you just got to be like, on your feet. You just cannot.
I call this DEET होना चाहिए. मैं आजकल लोगों को बोलती हूँ मैं DEET हूँ भाई. मेरे को बोल दो कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
No,
Sorry?
100%.
I call myself DEET these days. Like if I wanna ask a question, it's the most basic question. I'll ask it, and people will judge me. I'm like मैं DEET हूँ भाई, मेरे को चलता है. You can judge me, पीछे जाके judge कर लो. अभी इधर मत करो.
No, I think 100%.
No, I mean, see.
This answers
Sorry, go
everything
ahead.
for a lot of people. The questions that you have, guys, you have to be observant also. I forgot to say this in the very beginning that you have to be very, very observant because your question might be already answered through these journeys that these speakers will take you through because they know that all of you are beginners, all of you are starting out, or you have been experiencing things and stuff like that. हर चीज का रिलेशन इसी बेसिक पॉइंटर्स पे हैं जो उन्होंने आज लिस्ट डाउन किया. जैसे अंजलि मैम इज गुड विद फ्रेजेस दैट हिट, राइट? And then Nikalank sir and Nisha ma'am have that storytelling aspect. Obviously, Anjali ma'am के पास भी होगा, but she has not yet unleashed that thing, right? But that's it, and you all have to be more observant. You have to be more, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, listening capacity बढ़ानी पड़ेगी. You guys are scrolling Instagram and stuff. उससे मेरे साथ खुद होता है ये. सब लोग स्क्रॉल कर करके इतना अटेंशन स्पैन कम हो चुका है कि what a question for all of you here that I'm a bit cynical, on this end that yeah, why can't everyone be understanding? Why can't they be this? Why can't they be that? But obviously everyone has their own journeys and sir, ma'am, सब लोगों के लिए है कि people live a template life. Do you agree on this?
Yeah, we are told this.
So,
See, our parents, they don't want us to fall. They don't want to see their kids fall. So they will give you a roadmap to a okay life. That they're okay if you're not famous, but they won't be okay if you become a failure. So they give us a template and you live it for a while and then you figure out that this template mein maza nahi aa raha hai. But then you have to figure it out. You have to take that one race. So I was topper in my school because I was told to be the topper. I was never told that it's okay if you fail. But when I went to college, everyone was topper. So I like there was a time when I fell and that hit me so hard. But that's when I realized that that's okay. Because मैं मतलब कॉलेज में मैं इतना फेल हो चुकी थी कि एक पॉइंट के बाद ऐसा आ गया क्या ठीक है क्लास नहीं जाएंगे फेल करोगे कर लो है 8 और but I was doing something else then. So I went like I part my ways with that template after figuring out कि ठीक है मुझे नहीं मजा आ रहा है उसमें, that's okay. But you have to figure that out. You have to be one that you have to accept the fact that it's okay to go out of that template.
My concern is not so much about the template. My concern is that a lot of people today, they don't even realize the template, right? So it's and by the time you realize, you've lost a lot of time. So spend time inwards, right? One of my early mentors told me something really fantastic, and I want to give this to you guys. जब हम अपने लिए mentor ढूंढते हैं ना, तो हम अपने लिए एक single dimensional mentor ढूंढते हैं. If I want to be a good designer, I'll find people in design. I'll try to find a design mentor and things like that. What this gentleman told me was, find yourself 4 to 5 different kinds of mentors. Find somebody who's really good in business, who you think is really good businessman, a business person, businesswoman. Find somebody in design. Find somebody in technology, right? Who's willing to sit down and explain technology to you like a 5-year-old. So if you find multi-dimensional mentors, you will also grow with different facets of a personality, right? uh, the other thing is, एक तो यार mentors तुम लोग ढूंढते नहीं, काम टाइम करते नहीं. I don't know, this whole mentorship thing has become so weak, because it really helped me a lot, right, in terms of getting direction. And I think a lot of people who I see who are really successful, they have these coaches. They have coaches. They have a personality coach. They'll have a professional coach in terms of design or technology or within business or whatever. So you need to find those people for yourselves, right? And because these people keep you honest. These people are supposed to be people who are invested in you, right? So I think that is extremely important.
Hmm.
And again, obviously, hustle and practice. You just have to get up and go ahead and do it. Be shameless, man.
Wow. And I agree on this, Nikalank sir, that obviously that people don't realize that, and it gets too late. But also they don't get serious enough. मतलब उन्होंने realize भी कर लिया ना, template है, बाहर निकलना है, but they are lazy aspirants.
I won't comment on lazy. That's a
Controversial.
judgmental note, but I would say that, and I've been told to be more thoughtful with, the way I dispense my thoughts.
Yeah.
So, no, but I'll be frank as I can be. Um, we were also very, very hungry. We were also, very, very ambitious, and we also have always wanted to be the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Sergey Brins of the world and things like that. I think, but the difference is that the amount of effort that we are seeing in the younger generations is what is worrying, right? Um, Unfortunately, timelines are reducing automatically because of the tools and everything else that is available, because of the information and the courses and every opportunities that are available. So people are expecting you to get there faster. Uh, but the effort is not matching up, and that's where I get worried. See, if you don't want to, if you're not ambitious, and if you're not somebody who wants crazy things and all that, then fine. It doesn't really matter. You don't do the effort. There's no depression, there's no sadness, there's no angst, there's no worry, there's no frustration, no friction. But if you want a lot of things, then I don't understand why the effort is not there.
Hmm.
तब मेरे को कंफ्यूजन होता है कि भाई, अगर तुमको चाहिए तो करो ना, कहाँ से आएगा, right?
Nothing is going to come to you very easy. Like, that is very true. Like, you have to try different things to first of all understand where you can nail it, and you have to keep doing it. I have similar age son, so I can totally relate to it, and that is how we keep arguing about that. There is ton of talent. There is ton of talent, but where it goes probably wrong, or where some of you may feel lost, is like you feel okay, itna karke abhi ho jana chahiye tha, maybe, but then it's not enough. Like, when I look back, like, there are so many things I learned when, or I realized when I was at 35, 40, like, okay, now that I understand these things. So it is it takes time
Hmm.
for you to understand what you are really good at sometimes. So, but you definitely need to put effort there. There is no other way than putting effort. There's no easy path.
100%.
So
I agree.
I'll put chat. Okay. Life is a 4-step process. Okay. If you're looking at your career, if you're able to find a spot, your next thing will be to be able to stay in the spot. If you're able to stay in the spot, your next thing will be to scale in the spot, right? If you can stay in the spot, your next thing should be how do you sustain that scale, right? So तुमको अगर एक मिल गया तो दूसरे में प्रॉब्लम आएगी, दूसरा मिल गया तो तीसरे में आएगी, तीसरा मिल गया तो चौथे में आएगी, कहीं ना कहीं तुम्हें एफर्ट करना पड़ेगा, राइट? एंड इट डिपेंड्स ऑन वेयर यू स्टार्ट. It's a, you know, non-negotiable, right? Because what you have is what everybody does,
Hmm.
right? So the same opportunity that you do, everybody else does. So the only way you'll be able to differentiate yourself is, you know, really putting in that effort and finding that difference.
100%. All right. Aditi, you wanted to say something, or you have a question? Because I'll be directing the questions. Abhi chance nahi hai. I just wanted to say this. Yes, Aditi. You have a question, right?
Yeah, I have a question actually, like
Is it
a
an
small
interesting one, and is it something which can abide to a whole audience of 25 people?
I think it's more of a career advice.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, hello, good evening, panel. A little bit about myself. I'm Aditi, and I call myself as a multidisciplinary designer coming from NIFT background. So right now I'm a working professional, and yes, I do come from that physical product background. So I'm working as a hard goods designer. I have industry experience of working in toy design, in bespoke lighting, in hard goods, import and exports. And in college, I've done like a lot of projects on everyday objects and also on UI UX. So right now, what is going on is, so this was about my background, and somewhere I feel like when I've entered the industry, the application of my design education in the real-time industry is a little boring, and it is more of a deliverable. Like I have to design, I've given a target of design 500 products this month, and you have to do it, right? Then after coming from office, I'm content, like it's been a while, it's been 6 months. I'm also upskilling myself, learning software. I've recently been in config Delhi and UI UX, learning about Figma. I've made a couple of documents. Now, when the hustle stage is on, and I do post on Instagram, content creation, because this is the ever-changing time, and video editing. Somewhere I feel these have become a mandate skill. Even if I belong from I have a different core. So my question is, ki, at this point, somewhere I feel that I'm being multi-directional, but I've lost the direction. So is it a good thing, or I should, upskill in a direction way, or because nowadays it's what not I'm learning. I'm learning SketchUp, Corel Draw, that is related to my field. I just love exploring Figma and the Figma Draw and various updates. I love connecting to people, networking, config. I was my profile was approved, and it was crazy. But I feel like, what is it? It's like a chaos happening. I mean, if you could just suggest something, all of you, please.
You want to direct this to who? Whom?
I mean, like all of you, if you can just comment by starting from Nisha ma'am, then please.
Right. शाश्वत सत्य बोल दिया आपको. Like when companies are hiring you, like of course they'll have projects, they'll have deliverables, they have their own goals that they want to achieve. Not necessarily you'll enjoy it all the time, but what you can do is like what you were saying, that you love exploring other things and all, keep doing that. मतलब you can't tell a company कि यार मेरे को मजा नहीं आ रहा, product change कर दो. They're not gonna do it, right? So yeah, I think that is just part of the deal, that is that you have to, like, there are days when I don't enjoy the project that I'm working, but that's okay. But then there comes one project that I really enjoy, then I focus on that. Versus when it comes about learning, see, if you're expecting, and this is coming from my personal experience, if you're expecting कि कंपनी से ही सब कुछ सीखने मिलेगा, जिंदगी का सारा ज्ञान हम यहीं से लेके जाएंगे, ऐसा तो नहीं होने वाला है. You have to keep learning outside of your company. So that's where you're saying that you love meeting people. Meet people. You love doing other things. Do that thing. That'll keep you engaged.
Yes.
So unless you're making a company for yourself where you can dictate what to do, जहाँ मतलब जब तक मुझे मजा आएगा हम ये project करेंगे, and if you're working for someone else, you have to somehow, so you like, that's part of the deal. That's so there.
Anjali ma'am, please. Something.
Yeah, Aditi. So I think my answer to your question would be like definitely I would say there are two aspects to it. Oh, we do job because there is a financial need most of the time, and then that kind of your job fulfills that part, and that means that not necessarily you will get all the happiness, all whatever your work satisfaction, whatever you do from the job. The way you just explained that you're just going on and the hustle खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा है. तो वो हिसाब से वो एक वहां पे टिक हो रहा है आपका कि आपको जॉब करनी है फॉर वॉट एवर योर रीजंस आर, बट एट द सेम टाइम यू आर एक्सप्लोरिंग अदर थिंग्स. एंड एज Nikalank also said about spot, stay, scale and sustain. आपकी दूसरी जो चीजें हैं वो ये लाइन पे चालू रखो आप. मतलब whatever you are doing, let's say you are exploring Illustrator for doing illustrations, and then you have mastered that thing, then find the audience for that, find people who want that, and that is where you will be able to fulfill your passion also, right? So again, that goes back to what Anisha also said, that go outside of the job and build your network. I mean, there are tons of people. And why just limit yourself to? I mean, this country, go outside. I mean, online is like there's no limit. So reach out to
Crazy,
people.
ma'am.
There are
Yeah.
so many. Yeah, there are so many platforms where you can sell whatever your skill that you have mastered, and that is where you will get your satisfaction. Then coming back to job and doing what the company wants you to do. Maybe even if you're not happy, you will be like, हाँ चलो ये भी कर लेते हैं. बाकी घर जाके तो मुझे मेरा पैशन मतलब करना है और वो मतलब I'm going to be getting whatever I want from that, if that makes sense. Yeah.
One more thing to add to this. See, when you're saying that you let's say are learning video editing because you think it's mandatory, I'll give you one example. If you see my content, I make a lot of animated videos. They are not After Effects. They are not even Premiere Pro. They are literally Figma prototypes.
Oh, cool.
And they are good. Like on everyday basis, I get comments about how do you make these videos. Like every pop-up or everything that I get on my videos is a Figma prototype. Because I focus on the idea, I focus on what I want to do. How I will do that, I'll figure out. It is independent of the tool that you use. And I figured out just ways to how would I do things. I thought that Premiere Pro, After Effects learning curve was too high, but I wanted to get my ideas done, so I found Jugaad.
Crazy jugaad, ma'am. Yeah, already, ma'am, have explained, but I would really like to know your views, sir.
So I'll tell you, and this is one of the things that so take it to the pinch of salt, right? I mean, what happens with people in design or in art is they call themselves the heart of the organization or the heart of the team. Like as designers, as creative professionals, you want to be the heart, right? But you want to work like the little finger. If you want to be the heart, then the amount of effort the heart has to put in is insane. The heart is the only organ that it stops working in the end. Okay? You are declared dead when your heart stops working. Okay? Till your heart is beating, there is still hope. What I mean by this is you can change your organization. If you're getting bored in your organization, it's because even you're not looking for interesting work in your organization. You're waiting for interesting work to come to you. Why are you not making the effort of trying and creating prototypes or creating work and going to your seniors and saying that, hey, listen, can we do this? Can we do that? I saw this, I saw that. There is so much work I've created in my own company, right? When I joined here, I was a general manager in design 5 years ago. Today, I'm a vice president of 4 centers of excellence in 5 years. It is quite a journey to make. I don't want to boast my own trumpet, but I'm pretty proud of myself. And it's because if you talk to my peers in the company and if you talk to my seniors in the company, it's because I kept going back to them and saying that, can we bring design to enterprise products also? Can we bring design to trade and retail products also? It took me 2 years to crack a project in the company. 2 साल लगे मेरे को. 2 साल तक वो जो स्टेक होल्डर था वो मुझे मना करता रहा कि हमें डिजाइन नहीं चाहिए, तुम हमारे लिए कुछ नहीं कर सकते, तुम्हारा कोई काम नहीं है, हमारे सिर्फ इंटरनल एम्प्लॉयज का प्लेटफॉर्म है, देयर इज नथिंग दैट यू कैन डू फॉर अस. Fortunately, unfortunately, whatever happened, there was another person who got involved. We made a case study to him and we showed him how we can save 30 minutes for 3,000 people every day in the morning. 3,000 sales force, okay,
Oh, great.
by making some design changes in a sales product that they use. Now, 30 minutes every morning for 3,000 people is a massive difference, because we were helping them plan their entire day on the field. This is a project that we created out of thin air, because once we were talking to somebody in the Salesforce and they were telling us that, yaar, itni badi problem hai, this, that, ye, wo. So if you're getting bored, my question is, have you done enough to figure out the interesting problems that may be lying around you within your organization? Right? And it is not you alone. You need to work with people in technology. You need to work with people in product. You need to work with different people in your organization. Be like, hey, listen, I know design. How can I help you? I want to do something interesting. Okay. Can I just take whatever you're using and can I make it better for you? If you're not putting in the effort to figure out things around you, if you're not putting in the effort to build relationships beyond design, then I think somewhere you are also part of the problem.
Lacking, yeah. Right.
I tell my teams, all my designers, I have a 17, 18 people design team. मैं उनको बहुत गाली देता हूं अगर वो अपनी सीट पे बैठे रहते हैं. मैं उनको बोलता हूँ, अगर तुम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में इधर उधर जाके लोगों से रिश्ते नहीं बना रहे हो, तुम अगर लोगों से बात नहीं कर रहे हो, तुम अगर आके मेरे को हर महीने कुछ नया नहीं सिखा रहे हो, तो साले दूसरे महीने निकाल दूंगा. For me, it is very important that they are not just doing their job, they have to teach something to the entire team every month. If they are not going to be able to teach, they take turns. And if they don't take turns, I call them out and I send them home. I force them to teach design to analytics, to developers. So make your life interesting. Sadhguru ne kaha tha, if you are bored alone, you're in bad company. Okay. So if you're getting bored in your organization, if you're saying you've got 4 years of experience, if you're saying that you've got a strong portfolio, then you are the issue.
Okay, I'm getting your POV, so it's somewhere I'm also lacking, and I'll definitely work on that.
It's difficult to hear. It's difficult to hear, but believe me, you go on this journey to start digging around things, people will start depending on you, and you will start becoming way more successful at what you are doing. Okay? It's very easy to say कि उसने ये नहीं किया, I did not get this. flip the narrative. तुमने क्या किया?
Definitely. Yes. It's on me now.
100%.
All the
Okay.
best.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am, Nisha ma'am, Anjali ma'am. It was great hearing from all of you. Thank you.
Great.
You're welcome. All the best.
All right. Now I was just wanna like make it clear. We are almost up with the whole session. You guys will be given another opportunity to ask questions, obviously. But now this time we have approximately 20 minutes left. I would recommend you all to go and connect with Nisha ma'am, Nikalank sir and Anjali ma'am on LinkedIn and अच्छा सा customized message भेजो ताकि उनको recall होए कि हाँ हमने यहाँ से आपको ढूंढा था, so that they get context on you and they will be able to guide you. Got it? Number one. Number two, now in the 20 minutes, I'm going to be selecting two people, and these two people should have very relevant questions for everyone. So, do you think your question is relevant for a lot of people in the chat, in the audience? And your question is a bit general, where everyone will get some takeaways on it. Make sense? Everyone, you can react with a thumbs up. उसके पैसे नहीं लगते. So you can do that. Thank you so much, Hardik. Hardik has one question. Anyone else would like to ask question? You can raise your hand. Okay, we have four people. Let's listen to all of these four questions, and we'll let the three judge and select the two folks. All right. So Hardik, without hello hi, just throw your question. Same goes for everyone.
Hi, I am Hardik, and like my question is a bit into how, like everything is being how should I do that. So my question is like how to stay in line, like in design, how to learn in your surroundings. Like I'm from BCom background, like it's a totally different thing, and it's a totally different genre, and I love design, I love tech, but by chance I am in something doing in finance. So how to stay in line and how to learn in your surroundings when not from a design background, and how to connect to more people, like when I'm in a college where everyone is talking about finance, and it is a bit of like there are courses BTech and BCA, but these people are into more of coding, and not like in my college, I in many of the events I am tending to like एक ऐसा इवेंट होना चाहिए जिसमें कोई ग्राफिक डिजाइन हो, कोई डिजाइनिंग का इवेंट हो पर्टिकुलरली, बट दे आर अप टू लाइक बच्चे ही नहीं है, हम क्यों करें. तो लाइक there are lack of opportunities in my surroundings, and I am unable to think like how to reach out and how to grow more. And like another thing is how to manage this, like your love with the design and your present is finance, but I don't want to pursue my career in finance. It was just a push that you had to take. So
Okay,
yeah.
understood. You broke the rule, but it's fine.
मेरे को अगर
Sir, continue.
नहीं, let's hear all the other questions.
Yeah. Okay. Varun, just again, you are a designer. ये छोटी details पे आपको focus करना होता है. Just throw your question.
Done. Sure. So my question is to Nikalank, sir. So as you mentioned, you have 20 years of experience. So I would like to know how to maintain or stand out my profile in next at least 15 years in these various domains in today's industry.
I think this is already answered by the panel. What you can do if you want more personalized question, you can write to Nikalank sir and connect. Right. Next up, Bhumi, throw your question. Bhumi, you there? I think Bhumi is not, can't unmute. You can type it out. Next up, we have Shravani.
Yeah. So my question was, like in today's job market, especially in creative and digital industries, how essential is having like a strong personal brand or active content creation on Instagram or something like that, when it comes to landing opportunities or advancing in your career. So should I focus on that, or should I focus on building my portfolio more? Like, what is worth my time?
Understood. Panel, you are hearing the questions, right?
Okay.
Panel, you are hearing the questions?
Can I ask my question?
Yes, yes, Bhumi.
My question is that as a UI UX designer, when do you know whether your work is making an impact on users meaningfully? And when you're designing for a very broad audience, like a very large part of the audience, how do you handle the challenge of creating something that might resonate with many, but knowing that not everyone will connect with the same way? So there'll always be a certain part of, like a certain section of people who might criticize your design, or who might say that I don't resonate with this part, but you know that you have done a good job with it.
Okay. Pranjal?
Hey, hi, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So, thanks a lot, all three of you, to having been answering all these great questions. I am coming from a particular point of view that how do you break that creative brief towards your team, which is a quite challenging for us because we are running our design studio based in Ahmedabad. How do you how do you decode the brief, the task to your team so that they come up with the right kind of observational and like mood boarding exercises to discuss upon?
Got it. So I'll do the hard work over here. We'll select. So Pranjal question can be answered. I think it has already been answered. Mix of everything. So the session is getting recorded. So Varun and Pranjal, the session is getting recorded. If I don't select you, it does not mean that I'm being personal here or I have a personal vendetta against you. So relax. Okay. So I'll select. I'll select Bhumi and I'll select Shravani. Arre, sorry. So, Bhumi, if you can ask your question once again for the panel for reference, that will be great.
Right. My question was that as a UI UX designer, when do you know whether your work is making a meaningful impact on users? And when you're designing for a very vast and a very large number of audience, how do you handle the challenge of creating something that would resonate with many people, but knowing that not everyone will connect with it the same way? So there'll always be a part of, there'll be a section that will always criticize your work, but you know you've done a good job with it. So how do you tackle that challenge?
Can I take this one? It's a very personal question to me, because I work for a telco. Okay, we have 200 plus million customers. So on our mobile app, we right now have around 35 million customers. So now 35 million customers are, they're a mixed bag of various types of people. So when you're trying to build a solution, or when you're trying to build an experience for such a wide audience, it's very scary. And हमारे में क्या होता है, if you make a mistake, the losses are in crores, right? You make a mistake of a button here and there, you make a mistake of one word out of context, and people will start dropping like flies. So हमने एक गलती कर दी, 2 मिनट के लिए वो लाइव चला गया, हमारा 20 लाख रुपए का कलेक्शन गायब हो गया. That 20 lakhs of collection went to Google Pay in some seconds. So we had to stop that, plug that. And this is the situation that we live and we work in, right? And believe me, as scary as it sounds, it's super fun. Okay. The short answer to your question is, you need to be very clear about your measure of success before you go into building a product or a service or a solution or a design. So you need to know that, okay, what are we trying to achieve with this? Now, you can't make everybody happy. Okay. So for example, I'll give you a project that we were working on. We were building a platform for 17 users in a coal mine. ठीक है, उस coal mine में 17 managers were there. These managers were saying that their biggest problem is the amount of accidents that happen that they cannot respond to in time because of the solution in the or the process in the way that a person who's gone through an accident reports it. So these 17 managers in the coal mine were really very worried. Their only measure of success, the only thing they cared about was, please help us reduce the time it takes for a person in an accident to reach out to us. We can't stop the accident because accident to hoga, coal girega, koi gir jayega, somebody will fall, somebody will trip. That we can't control. We will do what we can in terms of their body suits and all that. But if somebody has an accident, if somebody has got an injury, by the time it reaches the central tower in terms of information, okay, it's too late and or too much loss has happened. His only measure of success, the manager's only measure of success is, I need to have this information ASAP. We built an entire solution in terms of technology, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, all of that मिला के हमने एक platform बनाया which reduced the time from hours to seconds. Like the minute the accident would happen, within 4 seconds, 4 to 5 seconds, the response team was in motion in the direction of the person. This was one of the most unglamorous platforms that we built. This was one of the most unglamorous assignments we had to go and live in coal mines and work on. But the way those people gave us hugs, because when they got injured or they fell, they got medical attention within minutes. I'm telling you, it made all of us cry. So this is one end of the spectrum where your users, number of users is only 17. Now we have to fight a lot of people to make that happen, right? The point I'm trying to make is, if you have a very clear idea of what your measure of success is, हमें भी बोला जाता है तुम्हारे पास 35 मिलियन कस्टमर्स हैं, हमें कैंपेन रिलीज करने वाले हैं, अगर 3 मिलियन कस्टमर्स ने ये कैंपेन बाइट किया, we are successful. So our focus is, how do we make sure that we get 3 million customers to bite this particular campaign? So we try to make an intelligent solution to make sure that, okay, fine, we'll target like 6-7 million customers, out of which the chances or the probability of 3 million hitting are the highest. So we have a very clear idea of the measure of success. You need to have that. If you have that, then when you go in, agar if you hit your target, then baki tum agar miss bhi karte ho, to kya farak padta hai? Then if somebody criticizes you, doesn't like you, but it doesn't matter. I went in to hit these targets, I hit and I came back. अब मोदी जी ने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर किया, उनके पास 15 टारगेट थे, उन्होंने उड़ा दिए. मोदी जी को गाली देने वाले बहुत लोग हैं, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? He knew, the pilots knew, the army knew, they knew what they had to go. It's as surgical as that. So when you're building a product, and especially if you're building a product at a large scale, you will more often than not hit complex situations that you don't have answers for. At that point in time, you can't take it personally and you can't be like, अरे इसने ऐसे कैसे बोल दिया, मैंने तो इतना काम किया था. What did you set out to do? Were you able to do that? Did you have a very clear idea of, is it a revenue target? Is it an engagement target? Is it a click-through target? What is it? Why are you doing? What problem are you solving? And stay focused on that. Baki, ignore the noise. I'm telling you, it's not easy when somebody's criticizing you and when somebody's saying that, listen, your work is shit, you feel like boxing their face. But if you can patiently look at what they're saying and why they're saying it and take an advantage out of that. I'll give you another example. My grandmom used to tell me this. When somebody gives you a chocolate, what do? It's a question.
You take it.
You take it, you open the wrapper, you eat the chocolate, you throw the wrapper. Right?
Right.
If I gave you just the wrapper, what do?
Throw it
You
away.
throw the wrapper, you call me, you throw the wrapper, you call me stupid and you move on. So same thing with criticism. If somebody is giving criticism, if there's a piece of chocolate in it, which is valuable to you, take that, throw the criticism, move on. If somebody is just criticizing you for shit's sake and has no value, ignore, move on. Why do you have to, take it personally.
Right. Thank you so
So
much. Really helpful.
know why you're doing it.
Also, like, I have another perspective to add on, sir. Like, you all want to impress everyone, all of your people, but that is never will happen in any case. Either you're trying to build something or you are trying to scale something, right? You will never achieve equilibrium. Full stop.
I'll just add 1 minute from my side. Like even I'm building, I have a team where we are building these insurance products, right? So it's a audience, and then you every day you get left, right, and center on like hearing from the users. And the biggest known platform to people is the app of ICICI Lombard's I'll Take Care app. And then we heard a lot, and then we took up that thing and we revamped. But I would say like I definitely agree with what Nikalank is saying, and what it tells me is make that thing functional first. What we tried to do is in while we were revamping the app, we looked at the top 5 VOCs, like voice of customers. We thought what are the top burning issues? Let us first solve those. There are going to be 100 other noises that people are going to not like this color. People are going to say, we don't like this page, the way it's been put. We don't like this illustration. But then, is your product functional? Make that functional first. And then, of course, like there are other aspects to it. There are different methods, Bhumi, where you in your question you ask like, how do you find out that it works for users? There are methods you can use to find out, like यूजेबिलिटी टेस्टिंग यूजर रिसर्च करके पता करो कि क्या हो रहा है, किसके साथ हो रहा है. For that you need to understand the cohorts also. But then your product should work first. It should be functional. It should be, then you can move to the next level of making it delightful. Still people are going to shout at it, but then addressing the top burning issues is something that you can that's what we did first when we revamped.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
see,
Thank you
like
so much, ma'am.
you cannot keep everybody happy. We've got a couple of million, I think, what 1 million or 800,000, 900,000, reviews on the App Store and the Play Store. And our average rating is about 4.6. But there are people who cry bloody murder. They say your app is this, your app is that. अब वो सब देखने चले गए तो पागल हो जाएंगे, right?
Love the chocolate and wrapper reference. So next up we have Shravani.
Hi, so my question was that in today's job market, especially in creative and digital industries, how essential is having a strong personal brand or like active content creation, just like a strong presence on Instagram or something like that, when it comes to landing opportunities or advancing in your career? And like as opposed to building a portfolio, so what do you think is worth more of my time?
I think I'll take this one. Okay. So when it comes to content creation, will give you reach for sure. If you ask me if that's mandatory or very, very important to get a job, it's not. Content creation, I have started just a year ago. उससे पहले क्या मेरे हाथ में job नहीं था, बिल्कुल था. I was doing really great, really well. तो ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं है that if you don't do content creation, तो बस नहीं ही मिलेगा job. But if you do content creation, apart from getting visibility, I'll tell you, I have learned a lot from content creation. I didn't start it from the perspective of that I'll reach a company, कोई मुझे job दे देगा or something, but I learned so much out of content creation. I got to do so many things जो मैं usually नहीं करती. I found the jugaad of making videos without using Premiere Pro, After Effects or whatever. I figured out how to do certain level. कितना मैं थोड़ा बहुत like now I do. I was the मतलब मैं बहुत ही shy थी कैमरा के आगे. Vansh has seen me. He has literally in one event, the first event where we met, he literally came and asked me that we want to make a video with you, and I was literally like, what angle of this face makes you think that I can make reels or whatever? So I was this camera shy, and like I learned so much out of it. So if you're trying to do it from the perspective of learning something, please do. It will make you grow like anything. now I used to be so awkward in front of certain people. Now I'm like, मैं कहीं भी फोन निकाल के शुरू हो जाती हूँ. Like जो चीजें मुझे पहले cringe लगती थी, अब मुझे बड़ा मजा आता है. And I feel like cringe people actually make money, so I would rather love to be cringe. Why not? So yeah, I mean that's my advice to you. But one more, another story that I have, that for sure it'll give you visibility. One content designer that I know, he used to write on LinkedIn just the things he learned or whatever along the way, whatever he was learning, thoughts, or if he had certain opinions about certain revamp or whatever, he used to write that down. And he landed an interview with Google, and because he was doing this, Google noticed him rather than him going to Google, hey, Google, give me job. So this will give you some sort of edge, but not all the time also. But you'll also have to have a patience. So it just depends on what's your perspective of you starting doing content creation. If you're doing it for fun, amazing, you'll love it. And the fame out of it or opportunities out of it is a byproduct. It will come eventually, for sure. That's gonna happen for sure.
And one interesting fact is AI सबको replace कर सकता है, but content creators की originality को नहीं कर सकता. That's the end of it, and that's why you can say that on creators like Ansh Mehra, creators like Nikhil Pawar, creators like Anik Jain, controversial, but all of them cannot never be replaced because AI will never have perspectives like they do, right? Make sense? So all of that. Thank you so much, everyone, for asking all the questions. I'll share everything. And a closing note from my end is I'll be sharing the recording to you all, right? In terms of a YouTube video or whatever, right? वो देखना, वापस से रिवाइंड करना एंड डायल डाउन करना. ऑल्सो आई हैव टू रिकमेंडेशंस. Go on YouTube and search Designer. We have done a podcast with Nikalank sir and Divyanshu sir combined in one. That's our most famous, most watched video, and it is the longest video on our YouTube page because the two legends came together and opened our eyes in a way कि वो अभी तक open है. मेरे पास वो फेब्रुअरी की एनर्जी अभी तक है. ऐसे मेरी आंखें बाहर आई हुई है. इतना कुछ सुन लिया था मैंने उस टाइम पे. मैंने कहा wow, this is something crazy, right? And I always jump back to that conversation because that's how real it was, and that's how you are supposed to promote this. Whatever you are doing, if you are well observant enough, this is like a sort of observation that sell as if you are gonna go crazy, and you have to, as a designer, you have to sell yourself, right? And that's what I'm doing, right? Second recommendation is the Don't Be an NPC coverage that we did of our event. It will open eyes, as you most of you all are in UX. Uske andar Chetan has break down a lot of stuff, right? सर आप लोगों को भी भेजता हूँ, अंजलि मैम को भी भेजूंगा, निशा मैम को भी भेजूंगा. You will love it, है ना? And that is it. We'll take a quick photo with the panel for memories, right? I had fun. I have hosted all my cool little people that I abide to and I look forward to for actually making this offline also possible because all of these guys are based in Mumbai. Why not? Let's have a Mumbai event, है ना? Let's take a photo. Are you all ready? You can turn on your cameras also so that you can also be in the frame. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you so much, Nikalank sir. Thank you so much, Nisha ma'am. Thank you so much, Anjali ma'am. Guys, it is an honor because
Thank you so much.
these guys are so valuable. इनका 2 घंटा निकालना इतना ज़्यादा help किया है आप लोगों को. It's a huge respect for all of them. वो तो सर काम है मेरा, है ना? अब वो I am like the master, for all of these guys, so that you guys can also come back again and help the community again, है ना? Guys, do write all of your feedbacks and in the group WhatsApp group, and I'll forward all of those to the panel so that they can also read, right? And yeah, see you in the next one.